So I hope you guys got the time to see that video that I had sent. This is professor with two speakers that were emitting sound. Yeah. And he was moving around the room. And contrary to what we may think, the sound levels are not the same throughout the room. So he actually demonstrated that through an experiment. He played a high frequency sound. He took a mic and he was moving around the room, and the mic was recording the level of the sound that was being picked up as he moved to different parts of the room. And quite interestingly, there were places in the room where the volume levels were dropping considerably, and there were places where the volume levels were rising considerably. And this effect is quite pronounced when you use a pure sine wave. Normally, you may have not experienced this a lot if you listen to music and stuff like that, because music is not always like one single frequency. And even the sound of an instrument is not purely a sine wave. So the effect is not as stark as compared to when you use a sine wave, but still you can hear different levels of loudness if you go to different points in the room, or if you try moving like that guy, you could still hear different levels of loudness, though it will definitely be not as pronounced as the example he used, because he was using a pure sine wave. Okay, so let's see what right now in our physics, in our sound chapter for our JEE exam, we are working with pure sine waves. So in our case, let's just see how this effect is observed, how based on the position that you're going to maintain with respect to two different speakers, how based on that position you will hear different levels of sound. You'll hear different levels of intensity. Okay, so let's see that. So before I do that, I want to define one term called as coherent speakers. So when I say two sources or two speakers are coherent, that means they produce sound simultaneously, that they produce sound together simultaneously, and they produce sound of the same frequencies and the same phase. So if two sources simultaneously produce sound of the same frequencies and the same phase, they are said to be coherent. Okay, they are said to be coherent. All right, same frequency, same phase, एक साथ they are producing. मतलब दोनों स्पीकर में एक तो सेम फ्रीक्वेंसी का साउंड निकल रहा है, और जब पहले स्पीकर से एक कंप्रेशन pulse nikal raha hai. I'm just drawing it like a transverse wave, but you know how it really is. It is of course a longitudinal wave. तो पहले स्पीकर से जब एक कंप्रेशन पल्स निकलेगा, उसी इंस्टेंट में दूसरे स्पीकर से भी कंप्रेशन पल्स निकल रहा है. They are in sync with each other. They are in sync with each other. Okay? So even in English, coherence means when there is a consistency in whatever, when somebody's speaking coherently, then all his logical arguments are consistent. They support one another. They are in sync. So यहाँ पे वही मतलब है. When two speakers are coherent, they are in sync with each other. All right. If sound from two coherent sources, or another way of achieving coherent sources, maybe use the same source. So if sound from two coherent sources or the same source reaches a point after traveling through two different paths, then they will have between them a path difference. Okay. So what is a path difference? Have a look at this diagram that I've shown below. So as you can see, point A पे sound पहुंच रहा है speaker S2 से और speaker S1 से. Now both these speakers are coherent, but the sound starting from the speakers are traveling different distances by the time they reach A. So S1 से जो sound निकल रहा है वो X1 distance travel कर रहा है A तक पहुंचते, और S2 से जो sound निकल रहा है वो X2 distance travel कर रहा है A तक पहुंचते. So because they're traveling different distances, they have what we call between them a path difference. Okay, what is the path difference? Simple, just the difference in the amount sound has traveled from the two sources. तो एक x1 travel किया, एक x2 travel किया, उसमें difference, तो path का length में difference is called as path difference. Okay, very very simple. Geometry का खेल होगा इसमें, सिर्फ geometry का खेल होगा. Okay, अलग अलग questions में now, in fact after today I'll give you some homework from the HCV. So there are a lot of questions in the HCV on this topic, but the main challenge in all of them just lies in using a little geometry and figuring out path difference. Okay, now once you have the path difference, let's have a look at the red example as well. एक बार, the red example में I'm using the same source. Okay, so obviously sound coming out from the same source will definitely be coherent. But then how can we have multiple paths in this case? We could have, if let's say sound एक तो goes directly towards A. The second thing is the other path could be, it could rebound off some wall and then come towards it. Yeah, so that's how you could have sound reaching A by traveling through two different paths. Okay, now we have the path difference. Based on the path difference, you can get the phase difference. You can get the phase difference between them. Okay, you can get the phase difference between them. Phase difference ultimately affects, remember, this is like the angle between two vectors. We have seen this in waves as well when we were adding waves up. Based on the phase difference, you can have either constructive interference, destructive interference, something in the middle, right? So phase difference nikalna important hai, because according to the phase difference behaves like the angle between those two vectors when you add them up. So chalo, I'll come to that. But one of you saying, sir, but weren't the two in the same phase? Bilkul, they were at the same phase. No one's denying that. S1, S2 are always, at any instant, if I take a snapshot, okay, let me zoom in on this. At any instant, if I take a snapshot of time, S1, S2 are always coherent. So they're always producing waves with the same phase. But the points down the line need not be coherent. Okay, so have a look at this. If I continue drawing the diagram, okay, so these points need not be coherent. When the wave at a particular instant, when you look at the source in phase hai. But down the line, the points need not be in phase. Because as you go down the line, you know that the phase changes. ऊपर नीचे जाता है. If you just take a snapshot and then move down the x-axis, phase changes. यहाँ पे भी as you move down the x-axis, phase changes. Point is, you're moving down the x-axis by different amounts for each source. S1 के लिए तुम कितना distance move कर रहे हो और x2 के लिए कितना distance move कर रहे हो, that's different. Right? Maybe x2 diagram के हिसाब से x2 इतना length का है. So can you see how there is a phase difference between them based on what x1 and x2 is? Sources are in sync, but a point at different distances from each source, for that point, those two waves, incoming waves, may not be in sync. Does that make sense? You samjha kya? Whoever asked the doubt. How is there a phase difference? We're going to see. Okay, so now exactly what is that phase difference? Wo nikalenge. What is exactly that phase difference? So we know ki phase is kx minus omega t, right? Phase is kx minus omega t. तो जब मैं phase difference निकालने जाऊंगा, है ना? I will subtract phase 1 minus phase 2. Okay. अब phase 1 minus phase 2 लिखते वक्त we will write, अच्छा, k by the way सबके लिए same है. दोनों के लिए सेम है, के दोनों के लिए सेम क्यों है? क्योंकि ओमेगा सेम है दोनों के लिए। ओमेगा सेम होना इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ कोहेरेंस, ठीक है। तो फ्रीक्वेंसी सेम है दोनों के लिए, ठीक है। ओमेगा इज द सेम एंड मोर ओवर velocity is the same because they are in the same medium, right? So in the same medium velocity is fixed, velocity सिर्फ उस रूम के टेम्परेचर पे डिपेंड करता है। फ्रीक्वेंसी सेम है, वेलोसिटी सेम है, तो लैम्डा भी सेम होगा दोनों सोर्स के लिए। तो दोनों सोर्स का लैम्डा के वगैरह सेम। तो अब व्हेन आई राइट फेज डिफरेंस बिटवीन, है ना, ए, I mean at point A for the sound coming from S1 and the sound coming from S2, K is going to be the same. All I have to write is KX1 minus same omega, same T. Okay, when I'm doing this analysis, I'm analyzing both waves at the same instant of time. The only thing different for the waves is the x coordinate, the amount the wave has traveled. But the particular instant of time that I'm going to substitute is the same because we are superposing both waves at the same time. So T same है, बस फर्क x1 x2 में है. So naturally when I subtract this, and of course when I'm subtracting, I don't know which is bigger, which is smaller. मुझे difference चाहिए, बस magnitude चाहिए, तो I'll of course put a mod. So you can see how omega t कट जाएगा, ओमेगा टी सब्ट्रैक्शन में कट जाएगा और यहाँ पे बस रह जाएगा k mod x1 minus x2. k तो पॉजिटिव है तो k मैंने बाहर निकाल दिया, k mod x1 minus x2। मतलब डेल्टा फेज आ रहा है k टाइम्स डेल्टा x। डेल्टा फेज is k times delta x. Now whether you believe it or not, we have actually seen this, we have seen this before. This is, I don't know if you remember, but this is exactly how we defined k. यहाँ पे देखो k का डेफिनेशन, वेव नंबर को मैंने वैसा डिफाइन किया था, फेज चेंज पर यूनिट लेंथ। फेज चेंज पर यूनिट लेंथ, कितना जल्दी फेज चेंज होता है जब मैं आगे जाता हूँ। ओके, k डिफाइन किया था एज डेल्टा फाई बाय डेल्टा एक्स। ओके, so k tells you how quickly phase changes as we move along x. Phase कितने से चेंज होता है? k times delta x, k times delta x. Okay, so delta phi is k times delta x. Keep delta x as difference, positive रखो, delta phi को भी positive रखो। We really don't care who is ahead, who is behind. We only care about the magnitude of the phase difference. Okay, all right. तो डेल्टा फाइव को पॉजिटिव रखो, डेल्टा एक्स को पॉजिटिव रखो। फिर के को तुम चाहिए तो लिख सकते हो 2 पाई बाय लैम्डा। के को लिख सकते हो 2 पाई बाय लैम्डा। सो दिस बिकम्स आवर फेज डिफरेंस, 2 पाई बाय लैम्डा डेल्टा एक्स। ओके, दिस एंटायर पेज बाय द वे is again, you again have questions exactly similar to this in wave optics as well. Okay, so in light waves में भी exact same फंडा चल रहा है और वहां पे थोड़ा और यूज हो जाएगा ये पर्टिकुलर आइडिया, लाइट वेव्स में और यूज होगा ये पर्टिकुलर आइडिया। सो व्हाटएवर वी आर डूइंग हियर इज गोना हेल्प यू इन वेव ऑप्टिक्स एज वेल। नाउ फेज डिफरेंस आ गया, एक बार फेज डिफरेंस आ गया, वहां से हाउ डू वी फाइंड द रिजल्टेंट प्रेशर? सो द रिजल्टेंट प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड, द रिजल्टेंट प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड निकालने के लिए, इफ यू रिमेंबर, वील हैव टू अप्लाई we'll have to add these waves the way we were adding waves on a string, or the way we were adding vectors. It's all the same thing again, or the way we were adding SHMs. Okay, so I have phase difference, I have S1 वाले सोर्स का प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड P1, S2 वाले सोर्स का प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड P2। रिजल्टेंट प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड कैसा आएगा? वेक्टर एडिशन करना है, वेक्टर एडिशन करना है। सो यू नो दैट वेक्टर फॉर्मूला, बस मैंने उसको स्क्वायर किया है, इसलिए यहाँ पे रूट नहीं दिख रहा है और यहाँ पे स्क्वायर दिख रहा है, बट दैट्स द सेम फॉर्मूला। व्हाट इज इट? रिजल्टेंट प्रेशर का स्क्वायर, प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड का स्क्वायर इज S1 का प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड का स्क्वायर, दैट्स P1 स्क्वायर, फिर S2 का प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड का स्क्वायर, P2 स्क्वायर, एंड यहाँ पे 2 into P1 P2 cos delta phi. So this is like रिजल्टेंट का स्क्वायर इज a स्क्वायर प्लस b स्क्वायर प्लस 2ab cos थीटा, वही यहाँ पे हो रहा है। a की जगह p1, b की जगह p2, and angle between the vectors की जगह phase difference between the waves. So this will give you the formula for the resultant pressure amplitude. Okay. Any doubts till this point? Let me just check what one of you said. Okay, one of you had missed the last 2 weeks because you were COVID positive. I hope you're better now. Can you attend this lecture or watch all the recordings first? I would say you can attend this lecture. You can. Yeah. I mean, there may be some formulas which may be alien to you, but you can still, most of it is like very similar to what we are doing in waves and SHM and also. If you've understood waves on a string, you of course can make sense of this. You can stick around, hear what's going on, but then by next class, so abhi Thursday hai na, to use Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the next class try to watch the previous lectures that I've taken. Okay. Yeah. So abhi yahan pe intensity is pressure amplitude. Nobody has a doubt, right? I'm just assuming silence means sab samajh mein aa raha hai. Intensity is pressure amplitude का square, क्योंकि हमने यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला डिराइव किया था कि इंटेंसिटी इज, wow, what a guess, सही पेज पे आ गया. इंटेंसिटी इज P naught square by 2 rho V. And then for a room, we said कि room में air का density and normally this stays constant if temperature and pressure is constant. Velocity of sound also is constant because temperature is constant. Room normally. So intensity is usually proportional to P naught का square. ठीक है, इंटेंसिटी इज प्रोपोर्शनल टू P naught का स्क्वायर. तो अब वहां पे इस इक्वेशन में जिधर भी P स्क्वायर दिख रहा है उसको इंटेंसिटी से रिप्लेस कर लो and constant of proportionality will get cancelled from both sides. So I'm just replacing P square with intensity. तो P resultant square के जगह resultant intensity, P1 square के जगह I1. Okay, intensity due to the first sound wave. P2 square के जगह I2. ठीक है, and 2 root I1 I2 के जगह, सॉरी P1 के जगह root I1, P2 के जगह root I2. तो यहाँ से इस फॉर्मूला से you get the resultant intensity is I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos delta phase. तो ये एक और रिलेशन आ गया इंटेंसिटी के लिए. ठीक है, resultant pressure is found by the vector addition equation. उसी इक्वेशन में P स्क्वायर को I से रिप्लेस कर लो तो इंटेंसिटी का इक्वेशन मिल जाएगा. P1 के जगह रूट I1, P2 के जगह रूट I2 cos delta phase. Okay, so again you need not remember the intensity one because you can always derive that from the pressure one. That's what I'm really repeating again and again. Pressure वाला तो वेक्टर इक्वेशन की तरह लिख लो और वहां पे प्रेशर का स्क्वायर को इंटेंसिटी से रिप्लेस कर लो तो फिर तुम्हें इंटेंसिटी वाला इक्वेशन मिल जाएगा. Now over here most of your questions will really deal with whether एक पॉइंट पे कंस्ट्रक्टिव इंटरफियरेंस है या डिस्ट्रक्टिव इंटरफियरेंस है. तो अब वो कैसे समझना है, कब कंस्ट्रक्टिव होगा कब डिस्ट्रक्टिव होगा. तो इफ यू लुक एट, go back to this function. Okay, constructive means when our resultant amplitude is the largest it can be. So if you look at all these terms, this is the only variable we are considering. So for this resultant pressure amplitude to be the largest, cos delta phi should be as big as it can be. And we know the largest cos delta phi can be is 1. When is cos going to be 1? When is cos delta phi going to be 1? At what phase differences will it be 1? So when is cos of any angle 1? What should that angle be? So we know that 0, take cos theta is 1. We know again at 2 pi, 360 degrees पे भी cos is 1. So on 720 degrees पे cos is 1. So every multiple of 2 pi, cos is going to be 1. So every multiple of 2 pi, this is going to be its max value. So every multiple of 2 pi, your resultant will be as large as it can be, and you will have constructive interference. It's like when I say if you have to add two vectors, what angles can the vectors have between them so that you get the max possible result. So you of course know the vectors have to be parallel for you to get the max possible result. They have to be in the same direction. What all angles could be in the same direction? 0, of course, but then add one more rotation to that and you have the same thing. So 2 pi as well. Another rotation to that means again the same thing. 4 pi as well. 6 pi as well. 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi. All such angles between vectors will ensure that they are in the same direction and you get the max result. All such phase differences between waves will ensure that you get the max pressure amplitude and the max intensity. It will ensure a phase difference of any multiple of 2 pi will ensure ki the interference is basically constructive, is as large as it can be. Okay, that was the phase difference. We have already seen this in waves. ये waves में देख लिया था कि phase difference ऐसा होना चाहिए. I'll talk about the path difference, but एक बार destructive का भी देखते हैं. Destructive interference के लिए we want the pressure to cancel out as much as it can. We want the smallest possible pressure. Destructive, the worst outcome. Worst outcome होगा जब this thing is as low as it can be. The lowest this guy can go is -1. When does it reach -1? 180 degrees. Then फिर से 540 पे. तो basically pi पे, 3 pi पे, 5 pi पे, at all multiples of odd multiples of pi, you get destructive interference, right? So at all odd multiples of pi, you get destructive interference. Yeah, so 2n minus 1 pi phase difference, correct. वो होना चाहिए for you to have destructive interference. That was the phase difference. That part we already saw in waves. How do I connect this with my path difference? So delta x is, if I take this there, delta x is lambda by 2 pi delta phi. Delta x is lambda by 2 pi into phase difference. Multiply phase difference with lambda by 2 pi. 2 pi कट जाएगा, n रह जाएगा, lambda रह जाएगा. तो यहाँ पे आ रहा है कि मतलब phase difference of n times 2 pi corresponds to a path difference of n times lambda. Because lambda is equivalent to 2 pi. So phase of 2 pi is equivalent to one entire wavelength. तुम एक wavelength आगे जाओ, your phase changes by 2 pi. Because you're back where you started. I hope that also makes sense. एक wavelength आगे जाओ, you're back at the same phase. Or technically you're 2 pi phase ahead or 2 pi phase behind. But basically when you move a distance lambda, your phase changes by 2 pi. Lambda corresponds to phase change of 2 pi. Lambda is like one entire oscillation ahead. So it changes by 2 pi. So delta x is n lambda when delta phi is n into 2 pi. And use the same ratio proportion over here. Use this relation over there. Phase change is 2n minus 1 pi. 2 pi को lambda से replace करोगे या pi को lambda by 2 से replace करो तो ये आ जाएगा delta x. ठीक है, pi को मैंने lambda by 2 से replace किया है to get the corresponding path difference. Or you could use this equation. You can say delta x is lambda by 2 pi delta phase. Lambda by 2 pi into delta phase क्या आ जाएगा? If I divide by 2 pi, multiply by lambda, pi कट जाएगा, 2n minus 1 by 2 into lambda आ जाएगा. तो ये mathematically आ रहा है. And बिल्कुल तुम इसको 2n plus 1 pi भी लिख सकते हो. बिल्कुल कोई कुछ गलत नहीं है. Odd numbers can be written as 2n minus 1 or 2n plus 1 as well. It's just, for your first odd number, you'll have to, in 2n minus 1, you'll have to take n as 1. In 2n plus 1, you'll have to take n as 0. Anyways, that's not going to really make a big difference over here. Basically, this is just representative. You know, this means every odd multiple of pi, पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव, यहाँ पे नेगेटिव ही चलेगा, फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, ऑल्दो हम मॉड लेंगे तो वैसा वो पॉजिटिव ही रहेगा एनीवेज। तो डेल्टा फाई इज एन ऑड मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई, डेल्टा एक्स इज एन ऑड मल्टीपल ऑफ लैम्डा बाई 2, पाई इज लाइक लैम्डा बाई 2, क्या वो भी समझ में आ रहा है? पाई इज लाइक लैम्डा बाई 2, should make sense. What is, if I move half a wavelength ahead, I find 2 points having exactly opposite phases because one wants to go up, it's like the other wants to go down. Yeah, vice versa. So if I basically find particles of exactly opposite phases if I move half a wavelength ahead. Extreme position और ये दो extreme positions के बीच में देख लो, half a wavelength आगे जा रहा है, ये positive extreme पे है, वो negative extreme पे है। एक पूरा wavelength आगे जाओगे तो same 2 पाई का phase difference आएगा, but आधा wavelength में पाई का phase difference आएगा। ठीक है, अब इसको मैं थोड़ा और logically समझा देता हूँ। Why delta x is n lambda is should be very obviously constructive interference. Why delta x equal to n lambda should be obviously constructive interference. For that, allow me to zoom in on this. Okay, look at this. Imagine these are two sources. Imagine this is point A, जहाँ पे दोनों wave आ रहा है। मैंने transverse wave की तरह draw किया है because it's easier to represent it that way. Although you do know that sound is a longitudinal wave. So imagine this to be the pressure graph. ये जब ऊपर जा रहा है, pressure is at its positive extreme, नीचे आ रहा है तो pressure is at its negative extreme. So visualize it like a pressure graph. अब क्या हो रहा है? As let's say my source was here, one source is there, one source is here. Whenever I take a snapshot of the entire scenario, I should always say, see the sources being in phase. That will always be given to us. Sources हमेशा coherent ही रहेगा. So I should see the sources being in phase. Given now that the sources are in phase, because sound is traveling different distances from each source, यहाँ पे phase अलग हो सकता है by the time it reaches A. Okay. Now, if it so happens that by the time the wave reaches A, the distance between these sources, यानी कि जो ये वाला सोर्स से जितना साउंड चल रहा है और वो वाला सोर्स से जितना साउंड चल रहा है, उनके बीच में अगर पाथ डिफरेंस लैम्डा का मल्टीपल आया, ये जो एक्स्ट्रा पाथ पीछे वाला वेव चल रहा था, नीचे वाला चल रहा था, वो अगर लैम्डा का मल्टीपल आया ना, then by the time it finishes this extra path and it starts traveling along the path the other wave also traveled, it's again going to be in phase with that guy. So if the path difference is a multiple of lambda, जो भी extra path नीचे वाला चल रहा है, if that's a multiple of lambda, by the time it finishes that extra path and starts traveling along with this guy, you can see how both the waves are again going to start at the exact same phase, which means इसके आगे वापस ये सारे waves in sync, in phase होने वाले हैं. And because they're going to be in phase, what is going to happen? You're going to get constructive interference. Sorry. You're going to have constructive interference whenever they interact. है ना? Because एक wavelength का बस ये एक extra wavelength चल रहा है. It's almost like that graph is shifted towards the left by one wavelength. One wavelength से sine graph को shift करोगे ना, कुछ फर्क दिखेगा ही नहीं. तो उस ऊपर वाले ग्राफ का क्रेस्ट जहाँ पे होगा, इसका भी क्रेस्ट होगा. ट्रॉफ जहाँ पे होगा, इसका ट्रॉफ होगा. इन अदर वर्ड्स, ऊपर वाले का जब कंप्रेशन होगा, नीचे का भी होगा. ऊपर का जहाँ रेयरफैक्शन होगा, नीचे का भी होगा. सो व्हेन दे सुपरपोज, व्हेन दे एड अप, द इफेक्ट इज एम्प्लीफाइड. इट्स अ कंस्ट्रक्टिव इंटरफियरेंस. ओके, हाउएवर, that was when path difference is a multiple of lambda. Okay, I can squeeze one more lambda here and then it'll still be the same story. Had the path difference been an odd multiple of lambda by 2, odd multiple lambda by 2 कैसा होएगा? 0.5 lambda, 1.5 lambda, 2.5 lambda, मतलब multiple of lambda plus आधा lambda. Had that been the scene, okay? So have a look at this. Had the source been 0.5 lambda had this lower wave traveled 0.5 lambda more than the other. मतलब had the path difference between them by the time they reach A, had the path difference between them been 0.5 lambda. उस केस में क्या होगा, यहाँ पे जब सोर्स वेव प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है वो सिंक में है, बट 0.5 लैम्डा डिस्टेंस आगे जब वो नीचे वाले सोर्स का वेव पहुंच रहा है, उसका फेज एग्जैक्टली उल्टा है इसके फेज के कंपैरिजन में. बिकॉज वन वेव इज ट्रैवलिंग half a lambda more, the wave by the time they reach the same point is they're going to completely be out of phase. Because they are completely out of phase, you will find uska compression will be cancelled by iska rarefaction. Iska rarefaction will be cancelled by iska compression. Uska compression by iska rarefaction. So there will be a lot of cancelling out. There will be max possible cancelling out in this case. So for destructive interference, it's quite clear. Path difference has to be an odd multiple of lambda by 2. It has to be of the type 0.5 lambda, या 1.5 lambda, या 2.5 lambda. वो 0.5 lambda के कारण they will be completely out of phase. Did you guys get that? Whereas any multiple of lambda के कारण they'll be completely in phase. Okay, so I'll show you a question of how these things work. Basically, whenever we'll give you a question with two sources, all you need to do is find the difference in the paths they have traveled, and based on the difference in the path lengths, you will ultimately figure out whether their interference is constructive or destructive. Okay, so let's do an example. Example se ab samajh mein aayega. You guys have in a way seen the theory. Let's do. Anyone has any doubt, please ask. Okay, if not, let's move on to these 6 questions. Okay, short hai, simple geometry का ही खेल है. Delta x निकालना है. If I give you point A, point B, and I'm saying यहाँ तक कुछ sound चल रहा है, can you find delta x? Obviously, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just finding one line's length, another line's length, and subtraction. लाइन का लेंथ निकालना है ज्योमेट्री से, सब्ट्रैक्ट करना है, सब्ट्रैक्ट करने में डेल्टा एक्स आ जाता है. डेल्टा एक्स आ जाता है तो तुम्हें बस चेक करना है डेल्टा एक्स लैम्डा का मल्टीपल है ना, या लैम्डा बाय 2 का ऑड मल्टीपल है. इज इट लाइक 1 लैम्डा, 2 लैम्डा, 3 लैम्डा, 0 लैम्डा, और इज इट लाइक 0.5 lambda, 1.5 lambda, 2.5 lambda? If it's the first, it will be constructive. If it's the second, it will be destructive. So over here in this question, एक बार try कर लो, सबको आ जाएगा. Yeah, these topics are the most scoring once you really get what's going on, and it's fun as well. Lambda is 2 meters. Okay, lambda is 2 meters. Wavelength दे रहा हूँ 2 meters. Source को मैंने 2 source है, coherent sources है. ठीक है, एक सोर्स 2,0 पे है और दूसरा सोर्स -2,0 पे है. और सीधी सी सिंपल सी बात है, मैं अलग अलग पोजीशन पे साउंड डिटेक्ट करना चाहता हूँ और देखना चाहता हूँ कि इंटरफेरेंस कंस्ट्रक्टिव होगा या डिस्ट्रक्टिव होगा. यू नीड टू टेल मी whether the interference at the origin is constructive or destructive. You can just शॉर्ट में है ना सी डी ऐसा आंसर कर सकते हो. 1 का C, 1 का D वैसा. ठीक है, तो ओरिजिन पे कंस्ट्रक्टिव है या डिस्ट्रक्टिव है. 0,2 पे कंस्ट्रक्टिव है या डिस्ट्रक्टिव है. 4,0 पे कंस्ट्रक्टिव है या डिस्ट्रक्टिव है. 1,0 पे क्या है, 0.5,0 पे क्या है, 2,3 पे क्या है. It's not difficult, it's just geometry. Please try this. Come on, first one. Yes, that's right. It's a lot simpler than electrostatics and all of that. Electrostatics में इन points पे अगर मैं पूछता था field या potential, बैठ के तुम दोनों चार्ज के कारण डिस्टेंस निकालते थे, R1 R2 निकालते थे. फिर फील्ड के लिए तो कुछ वेक्टर एडिशन करना पड़ता था. बट यहाँ पे इट्स सिंपल. द मिनट यू गेट R1 R2, ऑल आई एम सेइंग इज R1 R2 निकालने के बाद R1 R2 का डिफरेंस निकालो और देखो लैम्डा का मल्टीपल है या लैम्डा बाय 2 का ऑड मल्टीपल. यस कुशल, दैट्स राइट. Just to get the ball rolling, some of your answer already. कि हाँ, people answering. दिशा सही है, सही है. सही है, नाइस. सिक्स एक बार चेक करता हूँ. You're right about me. सिक्स तुम्हारा गलत हो गया. सिक्स चेक कर लो. कुशल, योर्स इज करेक्ट. नहीं, हाँ, योर्स इज करेक्ट. Some have gotten the hang of it. Those who have gotten the hang of it, please continue. But yeah, just to set the ball rolling, बाकी लोग के लिए 0,0. So the first point was 0,0. 0,0 के लिए अगर तुम देखोगे, there is actually no path difference. Right? 0,0 के लिए there is no path difference because if I make the diagram over here again, just the second. Yeah. Yash, that's correct. Nice. I hope the others are also solving. This is simple stuff. Okay, do yourself a favor and make sure you understand this. This is where you understand this, and then the HCV has some more challenging questions. And then once we discuss that, you can more or less be guaranteed that you will be able to do these questions. और इससे एक चैप्टर निपट नहीं जाता है, एक और चैप्टर वेव ऑप्टिक्स पूरा बेस है, तो वो भी निपट जाएगा. इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ दिस वर्क्स, वो भी आसानी से हो जाएगा. इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी सिमिलर. Yes, Sonti, I think just the fourth one, I'm not sure, but the rest are seeming correct. So 0,0 wale point ke liye, there is actually, whichever way sound travels, sorry, if you consider the sound traveling from both the sources say sound is traveling 2 meters. So when I find delta x for 0,0, my delta x is actually 0, because it's symmetrically positioned between S1 and S2. There is no path difference by the time sound reaches the origin, because delta x is 0. Therefore, delta x is an odd multiple of lambda. Right? 0 is an odd multiple of lambda. Sorry, odd nahi, even multiple of lambda. 0 is an even number. Okay? In fact, 0 path difference, matlab they are like in sync. There's no difference. Only when the waves reach the origin, they are perfectly in phase. There's no phase difference. Delta x is 0. 0 qualifies as a multiple of lambda. Fair enough. This is constructive interference. तो इसको शॉर्ट में CI लिख लेता हूँ. Constructive interference. The next one, 0,2. 0,2 ka I think same story hoga. 0,2 is going to be over here, right? And 0,2 again is equidistant from both of them. So 0,2 pe bhi phase difference should be 0. Equidistant hai 0,2, same story. Path difference should be 0. वो line of, in fact, everywhere along the y-axis, there will be no path difference. And because there will be no path difference everywhere along the y-axis, you will expect to see constructive interference. So 0,2, delta x is clearly 0. There's no path difference. And because delta x is 0, this again is a case of constructive interference. This is a case of constructive interference. Great. The next one, 4,0. 4,0. Where is that? 4,0. 4 is going to be somewhere over here. Okay. Sound is definitely traveling 2 different paths by the time it reaches 4,0. It is traveling 2 units along. Sorry, it's coherent just means in phase. Coherent means the waves have the same frequency and the speakers are in phase. मतलब sound produce होते वक्त इनके बीच में phase difference नहीं है. But sound अलग-अलग amount चलते वक्त phase difference आ सकता है. So because the sources are coherent, when the waves are produced, there's no phase difference. And since in these cases, the waves traveled the same amount from both sources and reached this point, there is still no phase difference. As compared to, there could be a phase difference in the third case, जहाँ पे source पे coherence था, source पे phase difference नहीं था, but S1 और S2 से चलते चलते ये अलग अलग distance चल रहा है. इनफैक्ट कितना चल रहा है? S2 से 2 यूनिट चल रहा है, पर S1 से -2 से 4 ना, ये 6 यूनिट चल रहा है. So there definitely is a phase difference. Okay. but is that phase difference a multiple of lambda? 4,0 के लिए जब डेल्टा एक्स निकाल दोगे, डिफरेंस निकालना है, बड़ा माइनस छोटा, 6 minus 2, delta x is 4, but delta x is basically now 2 times lambda because lambda is 2. So therefore this is again a case of lambda is 2, right? So this is twice of lambda. This is again a case of constructive interference. If one wave travels twice of lambda more than the other wave, scene ऐसा होगा, ये wave का crest and trough होके now it's ready to combine with that wave का crest and trough. So these will be constructive if how much ever extra path is traveled is an even or is a multiple of lambda. It could be 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 0 lambda as well. Okay, third one is constructive. Fourth one, 1, 0, 0.5, 0. So I think you're starting to get a hang of this. What is the fourth one? उसमें कितना difference आ रहा है fourth वाले? Very nice. Constructive interference होगा इसमें भी. Yes. तो fourth वाले के लिए can just make that again. Maybe I think you get the idea. Fourth वाले के लिए actually 2,0 से वो 1 unit चल रहा है. 2,0 से 1 unit चल रहा है और इस वाले से वो 3 unit चल रहा है. -2 से 3 unit चल रहा है और इस वाले से S2 से S1 से 3 units दूर है and S2 से 1 unit दूर है. 1,0, right? So therefore delta x in this case is going to be 2 and 2 is again lambda. So delta x is 2 and 2 is lambda. So again you have a case of constructive interference. Fifth case, (0.5, 0) ये डिस्ट्रक्टिव होगा. ओके, अगेन जस्ट ज्योमेट्री आता है, लाइन का लेंथ निकालना आता है, तो यू कैन आंसर दीज क्वेश्चंस, है ना. यू डू सो मच मोर इन मैथ्स, दिस इज हार्डली एनीथिंग. ओके, तो यहाँ पे 0.5, तो यहाँ से वो 0.5 वाला पॉइंट (2.5) डिस्टेंस दूर है और S2 से वो 0.5 वाला पॉइंट 1.5 डिस्टेंस दूर है, making delta x 1 this time. Of course you need not even write like this. मैं ऐसा मुझे present करना पड़ रहा है, इसके लिए I'm writing इतना, but as some of you did, you can just directly answer these questions. Just फटाक से थोड़ा रफ में scribble कर लो and you can answer these questions. Look at this, delta x is 1. This is actually lambda by 2. All right, so whenever you see half lambda, 3 lambda by 2, 5 lambda by 2, etc., lambda by 2 का odd multiple, not lambda का odd multiple, lambda by 2 का खेल है. ओके, एक बार लॉजिक देख लो. lambda by 2 के बाद फेज चेंज हो जाता है. lambda by 2 के इवन मल्टीपल्स के बाद फेज रिटर्न होता है. lambda by 2 का odd multiple के बाद अगेन फेज इज चेंज्ड. even multiple के बाद again phase is changed. So it's not odd and even multiples of lambda. It's odd and even multiples of lambda by 2, right? Okay. Odd multiples of lambda by 2, destructive. Even multiples of lambda by 2, constructive. Even multiples of lambda by 2 में तुम even number का 2 और ये नीचे का 2 काट के तुम बोल सकते हो all multiples of lambda constructive. Okay? All multiples of lambda constructive. And जब भी आधा लैम्डा दिखता है, 0.5 लैम्डा, 1.5 लैम्डा, आधा लैम्डा दिख रहा है ना, then it's going to be, if you can't write it as an perfect even number, but you see 0.5, 1.5, 2.5. If you see 0.5 lambda, that is going to be destructive. So this is destructive. And yes, the last one is again constructive. Okay, because the last one, where is that point? I think 0. Where is it? 2,3. 2,3 जब मान लो इस पे तुम प्लॉट करोगे 2,3, so it's going to be somewhere over here. Okay, and ऐसा थोड़ा ज्योमेट्री कितना यूज होगा, मतलब पाइथागोरस ही यूज हो रहा है, तो 2,3 का इससे डिस्टेंस हो जाएगा 3, बट उससे डिस्टेंस हो जाएगा, ऑफ कोर्स द डायग्राम इज नॉट टू स्केल, इग्नोर दैट, बट उससे डिस्टेंस हो जाएगा पाइथागोरस थ्योरम, तो यहाँ पे 4 है, वहां पे 3 है, उससे डिस्टेंस हो जाएगा 5, ठीक है। और 3 और 5 are the two differences from are the path lengths from S1 and S2. So accordingly, our path difference will be 5 minus 3. Don't forget to find the difference. I think one of you found 5 and got excited and said destructive, but 3 भी निकालना है. We'll find both the lengths. 5 minus 3, ये 2 आ रहा है, तो delta x 2 आ रहा है. That means this is, of course, lambda itself, which will imply that you will have constructive interference at this point. You'll have constructive interference at this point. Okay, cool. सबको ये समझ में आया? Any doubt in this? None? है तो पूछ लो. Okay, cool. Then we can move on. All right. This section you're going to love. This section is a repetition of stationary waves on a string. अभी जो कुछ हफ्तों पहले देखा है ना, हाँ बैटरी कनेक्ट कर लेता हूँ, थैंक यू. अभी कुछ हफ्ते पहले हमने देखा how we have fixed end में we have all harmonics present, and then we have a string with one end fixed, one end free, and उसमें कैसे all odd harmonics are present, है ना. Yes आदित्य, yes. तो उसी के जैसा अभी we saw waves, standing waves on a string, वैसा ही you have standing sound waves created in a pipe. Okay, you have standing sound waves created in a pipe. So before we see what those waves look like, one important thing is recognizing which end for an organ pipe behaves like the fixed end in a string, and which end for an organ pipe behaves like the free end of a string. Okay, so get this clear. When we talk about the closed end of an organ pipe, okay, this one is going to behave like the free end in the case of a string. Now, why? That may sound a little weird or may sound a little incorrect at first. That's because what you're actually probably imagining is the displacement wave. The closed end is going to behave as a displacement node. वो बात सही है. Closed end, वो उस end का particle आगे पीछे oscillate कर ही नहीं सकता. So closed end behaves like a displacement node. But I hope you remember that the displacement wave and the pressure wave have a phase difference of pi by 2. Remember, the displacement wave was a sine function, the pressure wave was a cos function. What does that tell us? जब एक एक्सट्रीम्स पे है, दूसरा जीरो पे होगा. जब एक एंटी नोड होता है, दूसरा नोड होता है. That's what it means. Phase difference of pi by 2. Displacement और pressure के बीच में there's a phase difference of pi by 2. तो जहाँ पे displacement का एंटी नोड होगा, वहां पे प्रेशर का नोड होगा. जहाँ पे डिस्प्लेसमेंट का नोड होगा, प्रेशर का एंटी नोड होगा. So this point you can remember whichever way you want. Okay, whichever way you want. या ऐसा याद कर लो कि at the end of you can remember कि okay, fixed end है, closed end है. क्लोज एंड में ये वो पार्टिकल वाइब्रेट, उसको वाइब्रेट करने की जगह नहीं है. आगे नहीं जाएगा, आगे नहीं जाएगा, पीछे नहीं जाएगा. आगे नहीं गया तो पीछे नहीं जाएगा बेसिकली. So that particle has nowhere to go. So that particle becomes a displacement node. डिस्प्लेसमेंट का जो भी है उसका उल्टा प्रेशर वाला वेव है. तो डिस्प्लेसमेंट का नोड है, इसलिए प्रेशर का एंटी नोड है. You can imagine why it's a pressure anti node, है ना? Compression will come and they will force the particles against the wall. So you can imagine pressure to change. And when these particles move away, you can imagine the pressure near the wall to decrease. So the pressure at the wall behaves like an anti node. Now, out of these two, which one should we remember? So we have seen earlier how interference of sound actually makes sense from the pressure waves perspective. Adding the displacement vector actually makes no sense. The way we perceive sound, the way detectors perceive sound, all has to do with the way sound really interferes, has to do with the pressure waves perspective. तो प्रेशर वेव का क्या है वो याद रखना है. प्रेशर के लिए ये एक एंटी नोड है. So imagine this end therefore to behave like an anti node. Anti node किसके लिए था? In the case of a string, the free end which is allowed to move up and down, that was behaving like an anti node. यहाँ पे भी pressure is allowed to go up and down. Okay, so pressure is going to be like your anti node. So this end can therefore be imagined to be like the free end we saw in standing waves on a string. Okay, starting with थोड़ा उल्टा लगेगा, but just get used to that. Pressure के लिए closed end behaves like the free end. Closed end behaves like the free end in a string. Closed end behaves like the free end in a string. Pressure के लिए this is the antinode, and we'll only focus on pressure. You can use displacement to remember pressure के लिए क्या है, because displacement का उल्टा pressure है. Ultimately pressure पे ही focus करना है. अब यहाँ पे ये जो मैंने draw किया है ना, this is of course just a visual representation. It's very difficult to draw and depict pressure, है ना? And it's also not easy to draw and depict a longitudinal wave. But यहाँ पे imagine this to be like a graph. Imagine this to be the graph of pressure versus time. So being the graph of pressure versus time, this can now make some more sense. Pressure versus x. Okay, so that can make more sense. यहाँ पे प्रेशर का मैंने जैसे स्टैंडिंग वेव में ये एंड फ्री होता है और एंटी नोड होता है ना, वैसा एक करस्पॉन्डिंग डायग्राम बना रहा. Okay, particles are not going up and down, but it's the pressure which is going, the pressure of this point is going up and down, up and down. So वहां पे pressure का एंटी नोड है. ओपन एंड उल्टा है. ओपन एंड इज इंटरेस्टिंगली लाइक अ फिक्स्ड एंड. ये भी तुम्हें थोड़ा काउंटर इंट्यूटिव लगेगा. You'd think closed is fixed and open is free. नहीं, उल्टा है. Because what you're picturing is probably the displacements. Open end is like a fixed end. Why? The open end is obviously a displacement antinode. जो end open है, obviously वहां पे particle आगे पीछे freely oscillate कर पाएगा. Open end is obviously displacement antinode. If it's a displacement antinode, it's a pressure node because pressure and displacement are opposites. They have a phase difference of pi by 2. एक sin है, एक cos है. जहाँ पे एक एंटीनोड होगा वहां पे दूसरा नोड होगा. So the open end is like a pressure node, and how can we remember that? Probably you can also remember it in this way. It's exposed to constant atmospheric pressure. It's exposed to constant atmospheric pressure. That's how pressure doesn't change over there. Okay, so in that way, the open end behaves like a pressure node. So out of the two, from the pressure waves perspective, you will therefore take this end to behave as the fixed end. So from the pressure waves perspective, this therefore behaves as the fixed end. From the pressure waves perspective, this therefore behaves as the fixed end. Okay, so that has to be in your head, that has to be clear. प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड का जो मैंने ये प्रेशर एम्पलीट्यूड का ग्राफ अगर मैं ड्रॉ कर रहा हूं तो एट द ओपन एंड मुझे नोड दिखेगा एंड एट द क्लोज्ड एंड मुझे एंटी नोड दिखेगा. ओके, थोड़ा सा उल्टा है बट थोड़ा एक दो बार पढ़ लो याद हो जाएगा एंड यू गेट द लॉजिक एज वेल. आई ऑलवेज थिंक फर्स्ट डिस्प्लेसमेंट के पर्सपेक्टिव से एंड देन उसका उल्टा करके आई थिंक ऑफ प्रेशर. आई ऑलवेज थिंक ऑफ द ओपन एंड एज अ डिस्प्लेसमेंट एंटी नोड and that immediately leads me to pressure node. And similarly, always think of the closed end as a displacement node, and that leads me to the pressure antinode. So pressure के terms में सोचो, but if you want, you can think of displacement as an intermediary step to figure out whether the closed end and the free end, open end, behave like fixed end or free end. Okay. Then the last thing I want to mention is technically, okay, experimentally it's found that the exact node lies approximately 0.3 d. D is the diameter, 0.3 d distance outside the open end. Okay, so technically ये जो exact node है, there is a slight end correction and this value is empirical. ये experiment के हिसाब से adjustments करके that value has come. Okay, so because of the ends over there, there's thoda smooth transition nahi hai. It doesn't abruptly become a node over here itself. Okay, for it to experience the lack of a boundary over here, thoda aage jaake node ban jata hai. It's a little distance for that to set in, and that distance also depends on the diameter of the tube. So again, you don't need to remember where or understand fully where it comes from. But you do need to know that if at all the diameter D is given, the only significance that diameter can have is for the end correction. Diameter D दिया है तो end correction use कर लो, नहीं तो उसका कुछ point है ही नहीं और वो normally उन्हें देना ही नहीं चाहिए. D दिया है, that means तुम इसका इस node का exact location beyond the boundary 0.3 d distance बाहर लोगे, and we'll see how that can be used. Yes, the exact location of the node is 0.3 d distance out. That's what we call as your end correction. 0.3 d is your end correction. Okay, now we'll move on, but any doubts still here? Logic आ गया, कैसे कैसे recollect करना है, closed end क्या है, open end क्या है. Closed end free end की तरह है, open end fixed end की तरह. Okay. All right. No doubts? Yes. I'll wait. The other way, sometimes I remember this is musical instruments. Guitar has fixed ends. Guitar is a musical instrument. And a flute has open ends. Flute is a musical instrument. But I think, of course, the displacement से pressure का node anti-node निकालना, वो logic, of course, better है. Guitar has two fixed ends. The flute has two open ends. So in that way, flute is like the guitar, the kind of vibrations that can be set up, the kind of harmonics that can be set up, similar to the guitar. Only thing वो wave on a string है और ये sound wave in that column. हो गया तो बता दो. Yeah, sure. हाँ, I'll wait. Sorry, I'll wait. Some are saying done. All done. Okay. So, this is the next page. Both ends open. Flute, okay, is like both ends fixed, like your guitar string. Okay. So both ends fixed. So we'll go a little fast with this because we just saw how both ends fixed behaves, right? The both ends open also behaves the exact same way, like both ends fixed. The first mode of vibration, remember we are only drawing the pressure graph, and pressure is actually a node at the ends. Okay, तो pressure का most fundamental mode ऐसा दिख सकता है जिसमें एक loop है. That is the fundamental mode. Fundamental mode के लिए, okay, fundamental mode is also called as your first harmonic. The wavelength is clearly double. You can visualize कि I need one more loop, so I need twice the length to get the entire wavelength. Wavelength is clearly double. Yeah, you can say lambda is 2 loops and one loop is equal to L. One loop is the entire length of the string. So lambda is 2 loops and lambda is 2L in this case. Lambda आ गया, frequency आ जाएगा. The fundamental mode का frequency is velocity of sound in air by wavelength. Fundamental mode का frequency है V by 2L. Exact same चीज है जो वहां पे था, बस वहां पे V को root T by mu लिखते थे, यहाँ पे V को velocity of sound in that medium लिखेंगे. वहां पे velocity in the string था और यहाँ पे velocity in air होगा. Then the next mode that you can visualize with these two being like nodes is put a node in the middle. So 2 loops. That's the immediate next mode we can visualize. 2 loops, again, like before, becomes your, this becomes the first overtone, the first tone over the fundamental. This is also going to be called our second harmonic. It's also going to be called our second harmonic. And the reason this is our second harmonic is because when we again find lambda, lambda is this time 2 loops, and 2 loops are exactly equal to L. 2 loops span the entire length this time. So lambda is 2 loops, lambda is L, as is clearly, you can clearly see this, how the entire length is lambda this time. Lambda is L, frequency becomes velocity by lambda, यानी कि velocity by L. ये V by 2L था, ये V by L है, तो ये V by 2L का double है. So because यहाँ पे double the fundamental frequency आ गया, this is of course the second harmonic, and so on and so forth. You can, if you can really write the nth one, you don't need to remember the formula for the nth one, but if you can write that, that means you in a way know how to look at the diagram and you can write the frequency for any overtone or any mode of oscillation. Right now, let's say we are talking about n loops. N loops. Right? So you can think what overtone does that get to be called? So you can see, okay, first, the second loop is first overtone. 2 loops, first overtone. 3 loops, second overtone. So you get the picture. So always one less. The overtone is always one less. So n loops, n minus 1th overtone. As for the frequency, you don't need to assume anything. Lambda is twice the length of a loop. N loops is L. So one loop is L by N. Lambda is twice the length of a loop. N loops is L. One loop is L by N. So lambda is 2 L by N. You can always work this out. You can take more steps if you want. Frequency is velocity by lambda. So velocity by 2L by N. That makes frequency NV by 2L. That is N times the fundamental frequency. So frequency is N times the fundamental frequency. Okay, finally, if diameter is given, okay, this is one thing to be careful of. If diameter is given, however, you're going to replace the length of the pipe with L plus 2 times 0.3D. Because since two ends are open in this case, technically the distance between the ends, distance between the points जहाँ पे node actually lie करता है, is L, the actual length of the tube material, plus 0.3D, because this end sticks out by 0.3D, and plus 0.3D here as well, because that end also sticks out by 0.3D. So taking 0.3D for each end, if we actually give you the diameter, the only thing you have to be careful of is you have to replace L with L plus 0.6 times diameter. 0.3D यहाँ से 0.3D यहाँ से. वो actual distance between the nodes है. तो वो actually, like in the fundamental mode, वो actually lambda by 2 होगा. L plus 0.6D, the distance between the nodes, lambda by 2 होगा. Alright? So वो एक छोटा सा adjustment है. बाकी तो ये I went through this quickly because it's exactly what you saw in waves on a string. Right? Any doubt in this? It's just like standing waves on a string with both ends fixed. This is typically the more common one. In a lot of instruments, you get to see these pipes which are attached to the instruments, which are attached to each key that is played, and they are of a specific length so that the note that is produced can vibrate in the tube as well in its fundamental mode, and thus it can amplify the sound or change or add to the texture of the sound. So you have a lot of instruments. You have, of course, a lot of organs use pipes. You have certain instruments called as vibraphones, which are like xylophones. They also have pipes. Gives a nice sound. A lot of wind instruments in general are based on this particular concept. Great. Okay, so this seems to be anyone wants me to wait here, Bongo? You won't even need to revise as much. ये revise करते वक्त है ना, you just लिख लो ये revise करते वक्त you have to just ensure कि You remember what the closed end means and the fixed open end means. बस उतना याद करना. Closed end क्या था, open end क्या था, उससे फिर सब हो जाएगा. और ये एक पॉइंट बी का है ना फैक्ट, वो एक्स्ट्रा याद करना. Done. Are we done? Before I go to the other page, we of course know one end open, one end close का scene कैसे रहेगा. But can you think of this last point जो मैंने star mark में लिखा? One end open, one end close के लिए जो भी हम result निकालेंगे, if the diameter is given, then what will we change L with? If one end is closed, one end is open. यहाँ पे L plus 0.6D है, वहाँ पे क्या करेंगे? Very simple stuff. Yes. एक एंड बंद है, एक एंड खुला हुआ है, तो एक ही एंड के लिए एक ही एंड करेक्शन ऐड करेंगे. So as we see one end open, one end closed, basic idea is that's it. For one end, you'll have to add one end correction. So if D is given, replace L, whatever we're going to discuss over here, replace L with L plus 0.3D. In the end, just replace L with L plus 0.3D if the diameter is given. It's not given most of the times. Okay? So that means you're supposed to ignore it most of the times. But if at all is given, you have to use it. L plus 0.3D. इस बार एक ही, क्योंकि एक ही end है. Okay. Quickly going to the analysis, how the fundamental looks. So this time, the open end is like ulta. Open end is like a fixed end. And the closed end is like a free end. Okay. So one end open, one end closed is like one end. Technically, the way of writing would be one end fixed and one end free. One end fixed, one end free. In fact, let me just change that. It looks better when it's in that right sequence. I think maybe subconsciously ये बनाते वक्त open के साथ free लिखा. So there's a tendency to make that mistake. I think subconsciously लिखते वक्त open के साथ free लिखा. Not that it means, not that the order of writing this really matters, but open is to fixed as closed is to free. We'll have to get a little used to that. That's the only confusing thing over here. Okay. One end free. All right, sorry. So over here, the most fundamental mode of oscillation we can therefore visualize is when your open end behaves like the node and your closed end behaves like the antinode. Okay, and there's nothing else in between. So there is just that half a loop present. Yeah, just like string with one end free, one end fixed, half loop present here. And that's how the fundamental mode will look. That's how the pressure graph will look. यहाँ पे pressure change नहीं हो रहा है और वहाँ पे pressure का antinode. Fundamental mode is going to be our first harmonic always, and then lambda, as you can clearly see, इसमें lambda is actually 4 times L. You'll have to duplicate this. You'll have to increase the length of this 4 times. यहाँ पे एक और shape, फिर एक और shape, एक और shape. ये कुल मिलके एक पूरा lambda हो जाएगा. तो length का 4 time is lambda. Yeah, you can say lambda is the length of 2 loops, and one complete loop is visibly 2L. This is a complete loop. Aadha loop is L, है ना, आधा loop is L, so one loop is 2L. Lambda is 2 loops, one loop is 2L, so lambda is 2 into 2L. Lambda is 4L. We already spent more time on this in the other chapter. Fundamental frequency is velocity of sound by lambda. Fundamental is bar V by 4L hota hai. So actually just by closing the note, you closing that end, you'll get one note lower. You'll get one note lower. I mean, you'll get a lower sound. You'll get exactly half the frequency. You get half the frequency. Yeah. So sa ka pa hoga, if anyone cares about that. But anyways, moving on. Nee, half the frequency. You'll get a lower sa itself. You'll get a lower note itself. Anyways, continuing, then the first overtone that you see, will be which harmonic. So if you remember over there, we had only odd harmonics. Yahan pe bhi you'll have only odd harmonics. The way you can quickly again prove that is, you'll again have to see कि lambda is 2 loops. Lambda is 2 loops. But yahan pe one loop is 2/3 of the length. है ना, 1.5 loops is, यहाँ पे दिख रहा है ना, one loop is 2/3 of the length. Lambda is 2 loops, 2 into 2/3, 4/3L. Okay, I'm doing it fast. You can, of course, break it down into smaller steps. I think you have anyways, you guys have got the idea by now. Lambda is 4L/3. Frequency is velocity by lambda. तो ये अगला overtone ही 3V/4L हो जाता है. Remember, this end always has to be an antinode. This end always has to be a node. We had no other option. This is the next overtone. बस एक बीच में एक node डाल दिया. This is the immediate next overtone, and we have already missed one frequency. We have missed the second harmonic. We do not get 2V/4L. Directly we go to 3V/4L. So only odd harmonics work. Only odd harmonics work. Only odd harmonics work. Okay. Then when I have n.5 loops, n.5 loops, उसमें क्या कर सकते हैं? तो similarly, this can be called, you'll have to manually count. अच्छा, 1.5 is first overtone. ऐसा एक दो बना के देख लो. 2.5 second overtone. n.5 loops, n.5 loops, nth overtone. ठीक है? You don't need to memorize. You can draw and see. Harmonic भी क्या है? थोड़ा draw करके देखो. Lambda is twice the length of a loop. This L is n.5 loops. So L by n.5 is one loop. L is n.5 loops. L by n.5 is one loop. And lambda is 2 loops. So lambda is 2L by n.5. 2L by n.5, उसका n.5 को n plus half लिख लो, LCM लिख लो. तो n plus half करके ये हो जाएगा 4L by 2n plus 1. And F is V by lambda, so it becomes 2n plus 1, V by 4L. ठीक है? You've already, your notes you made for strings, वही refer कर लो. This is just me showing what changes, and hardly anything changes. Hardly anything changes over here. Okay? That's it. So this is 2n plus 1 times the fundamental. 2n plus 1 times the fundamental. Showing you that there are only odd harmonics. You only get odd harmonics. Okay? And as we already mentioned, if D is given, just make sure you do all of this, and at the end, you just replace L with L plus the end correction. If both ends are open, you have to add 2 end corrections. So L plus 0.6D hoga, one end is open. L plus 0.3D hoga. Okay, that's it. This is where we'll stop. I think 5 तक ही था ना lecture तुम्हारे साथ. Cool, we'll stop here. Okay, I'll send you your homework on the group, and I'll send you the solution playlist as well. The homework will be from beats, the basics में velocity of sound, intensity का formula, decibels वगैरह आता है, and will be on interference. Okay? So the interference part will be a little fun, interesting. but everything is simple. It's not abstract, not complicated. Okay. Bye. Take care. Bye bye. Yeah, sure. Welcome. Bye bye.